I like literally took a bite of caramel corn right before I hit go live. Fat girl shit, y'all. And I don't mean that disrespectfully to anybody out there who thinks that they are overweight and is not comfortable with their weight or considers themselves to be fat because I don't mean to be disrespectful. I'm not a disrespectful person, but I have called myself that forever, and inside, I'm a fat girl. I feel like it's a state of mind. It's not a it's not a physical thing. So please don't take that disrespectfully. I love everybody, all shapes and sizes. You gotta love yourself though. All the love I can give you, all the love in the world, but if you don't love yourself, it won't matter. Welcome to Monotfahme Monday, y'all. Peace, love, and positive vibes to you and yours. I hope y'all had a fabulous weekend. I know I did. I was busy this weekend. I had a busy ass weekend. I went on a cruise on the voyage with my KMOJ family. That was really fun. And I DJ'd a prom last night. And that was pretty fun too. That was actually cool. It was my first time ever DJing a prom. I had a good time. And I think the kids did too. So, that's what really matters, right? So today I wanted to talk to you guys about like sticking with your lesson. So like sometimes we're always being taught things and we're always being like pushed to be the best version of ourselves, right? And like until you I still got stuff in my teeth, y'all. Until you learn a lesson, you will continue to be like go through that lesson again and again. It's kind of like school. Remember when we were in school, like if you didn't pass a class, well, this is how it used to be back in the day when they like made you be like individual self and stuff like that. I don't know. Nowadays it's like everybody gets a trophy, and it didn't used to be that way. You used to have to actually work for like your trophy, or if you didn't pass a class, you had to retake that class. It wasn't just everybody gets pushed along no matter what their level is. We would literally have to repeat the class. So it's just like that, where if you don't learn your lesson, you will continue to repeat the lesson, right? So is this really letting me be on Facebook right now? Oh no, it says it's sending data. Anyways, I'm still off Facebook. So if you have been trying to reach me via Facebook Messenger, I don't have access to it. So I have no idea what messages have been sent or anything like that. So if you're trying to reach me at all, find me on Instagram, find me on Twitter, email me. I am melodywaters@gmail.com. If it's Lucid Made It related, find me at Lucid Made It everywhere. LucidMadeIt. Literally everywhere except Facebook because they won't let me in my stuff. But so like lessons, if you don't learn a lesson, you will continue to have to repeat that lesson until you get it. Like, have you ever noticed that like it seems like you're meeting the same people over and over again, just in different forms? Like you still have the same issues with them as you had with the last person, or it seems like you're just attracting a certain type of person, right? Well, it's because you clearly have not learned a lesson in those situations. Like you were supposed to learn something there. So you have to figure out what that is. A lot of times it's self-worth, self-love. It's something to do with how we're not responding properly to ourselves, or there's something that we need to heal from. That is being brought up. So it's really important to sit back and analyze. Like I'm always telling you guys to analyze. I'm going to forever be telling you to analyze yourself, analyze your relationships with other people on both ends. Don't just analyze them, but also analyze your portion of relationships that you're in. Like, how are you doing? Um are you the problem? Are you fucking up? Are you good or no? Like, is your partner happy? Is your friends happy? Are your friends happy? Are your business partners happy? Like, you have to analyze both sides of it, not just them, but you as well. But that's why I'm always telling you to analyze everything, analyze relationships, look at what's going on in your relationship. Try to see if you see patterns in things. Like, is there a pattern? Is there something that's always being repeated in these relationships? Like, for example, I'm gonna kind of just use like intimate partnerships for an example, because that's probably where we see it the most, I would say, anyways. We're gonna get a repetitiveness in our relationships with our intimate partners because we're not learning whatever lesson that is. And like I said, it's typically something about ourselves that we need to work on or heal. And so it's important to like sit down. I mean, even with a pen and a paper, maybe write it down so that you can really actually see a pattern if that works for you best. And analyze the relationship, analyze aspects of it that were good and bad. Notice where you grow too, because you do have to celebrate growth. Like, don't always just beat yourself up. Like, you have to do more, you have to be better, but you have to also celebrate how far you've come and your achievements. It's really important to make sure that you are proud of yourself for the things that you get through, because part of our healing process is self-love, and that's a lot of self-love to be able to be like, oh, good job, you know what I mean? Like, you really came through something that was tough. So it's important to look back at how far you've come as well. But analyzing your relationship and writing down the things that you notice that are patterns will help you to realize like what it is that's going on. Like, you might even be able to figure out where that healing needs to come from. Like, is it that you're dating your mom again over and over again, or your dad over and over again? Were you like, because a lot of times we come from tough childhoods or something like that, where we have a tendency to look for our parents in who we date, and not in a literal sense, obviously, but there's things that we think are okay in a partner because it's things that we saw demonstrated to us growing up, and it's what we know of how a person is supposed to act. So, like, for example, if a young man has an abusive mother or a mom that's like just like, I don't know, crazy or something like that, he's probably going to be more inclined to dating women who are quote unquote crazy and who have the same type of personality traits as his mom did. Maybe even abuse him physically, mentally, emotionally. Men get abused too. Please believe that. It is not just women that are abused. Men are abused as well. And not to even say that that makes them weak. It's like psychological abuse is abuse. So if you're constantly tearing your partner down and berating him every time he does something that you don't agree with, that's damaging. That's psychologically damaging. Constantly like bringing up stuff about his life or when his childhood, all those things, that's abuse as well. But so, and same with women, like if a girl had an abusive father or a father that was like emotionally, not available or maybe even non-existent, that is going to be a huge, it's going to play a lot into how she looks for her partners as well. So like it's not just it's so weird because I feel like in our society, for whatever reason, we have like put men inside this like bubble where it's like they don't have feelings, they don't have emotions, they don't go through anything. They're just fucking made of steel and like just everything bounces off of them. And that's just not the case. That's not reality. That's not reality. I think a lot of men have been conditioned to not show emotion because if they did, it's deemed as being weak. And and in all reality, there's a lot of men who are super unhealed because of the stigmas that society puts on them when it comes to feelings and emotions and healing and trauma and abuse and things like that. Like it's like men are only the abuser all the time. They're never the abused. Men are only, the aggressor all the time. It's always the man that's the problem. He's always supposed to just make his woman happy or and that's in a, I guess in a, male female relationship. But even in a sense, it probably works the same way in male male and female female or however you deem your relationship where I would assume that probably whomever is more of a masculine energy is probably looked at the same as like men are looked at as like, well, geez, you're just expected to just have like, just be bulletproof, basically. And that's just not fair. I don't think that that's fair at all. I think it's time that we start realizing that everybody has been through some fucked up shit and everybody goes through fucked up shit because life is tough and life is tough for you because it's your life. Like your life is tough for you because it's your life. I don't have to live your life. Like I don't have to walk even a second in your shoes ever. Never. I never ever have to be a part of your life or walk in your shoes or do what you have to do or go through what you have to go through and vice versa. So it's like you can have compassion for people, but we never really truly know what people are going through. And it's really time that we start realizing that and start honoring that and giving people space to heal and giving people space to realize even like what is going on in their life. I think a lot of people don't even really truly know themselves. We walk around thinking that we're somebody or trying to be somebody and it's not even us. We feel like we have to put on some kind of a costume for people and we need to start letting those things go. It's time to start releasing stuff like that and no longer feeling like you have to be inside of a box because nobody fits in that box. The box is designed to control you and limit you and nobody fits inside of it. Like we literally don't fit in that box. So stop trying to conform to what you're being told that you're supposed to be and look inside yourself and find out who you really are. Find out who you really are. They're going to tell you that it's wrong, that you're just supposed to fit in this box. You have to be this way and you have to be that way and you have to do this and you have to walk like this and you have to talk like that and you have to act like this and you have to feel this way and you have to dress that way and you have to eat these foods. And no, fuck that shit. You don't have to do any of those things. Dress how you want. Be who you are. Find out who you are. Spend time with yourself. Get to know you. And figuring out the things that you need to heal from. I mean, it changes you. It changes you in so many ways. I know it changed me in a lot of ways. And I'm still healing because I feel like healing is a forever lifelong process. I don't think that we ever fully I don't think we have time, especially because it takes so long for many of us to wake up to realize holy crap, wait a minute. There's actually stuff. I'm actually supposed to be doing something. I have a reason to be here. It takes so many of us so long to even realize that we have very little time. So the sooner that you can realize that a lot of your, I'm trying to like figure out how to say, a lot of your like relationships and a lot of your stresses in life and a lot of the things that you go through that are really like major like difficulties, like how we choose to perceive them is going to determine how we get through them. And it's crazy, but I will tell you that it is very freeing to realize that you're always taken care of. You're always good. Everything always works out. Like it always works out. Eventually it works out. It works itself out. Life has a way of rebalancing and always putting you back on your square, like where you're supposed to be at. But we have to like apply some effort to that. And that comes with realizing when we're being taught a lesson that that is a lesson. And like respecting it. And what I mean by that is like when you realize like, okay, this has taught me a lesson. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to allow somebody to talk to me this way ever again. Like, I don't know, whatever it was. Everybody's situation is going to be different. And you're going to have many of these aha moments. Every one of them is going to be like, oh shit. Jesus. Like, I had the biggest freaking like, aha, like, holy shit moment yesterday. Like it literally brought me to tears. Like I was like in tears because I couldn't believe like that I had been so blinded to this lesson for so long. Like I really just kind of like I just blew it off. I think. I don't know. I for whatever reason, I wasn't ready. And that happens sometimes. Like sometimes we relearn that lesson over and over again because we don't get it. Like it's not sinking in. Like, and I can't tell you why that is. I think I would say that it's because a lot of us are so unaware of that for so long. I was really unaware of the fact that I was not healed. I was really unaware of the fact that I actually didn't love myself. I was really unaware of the fact that I was picking things repetitively and I was literally pushing people away from me who have loved me through everything. Isn't that crazy how we will do that without even realizing it? And I think that subconsciously, I felt like I didn't deserve this. I didn't deserve it was just it was like too good and I didn't deserve it. What the what kind of shit is that? Who does that to themselves? Who says that's too good? I don't deserve it. Like, are you kidding me? That's insane. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. You do deserve this. You do deserve to be happy. You do deserve that job. You do deserve the partner. You do deserve fill in the blank. You deserve it. But it's not until we like literally realize what's going on, like until the like veil thins in front of us and all of a sudden like you just realize like the majority of my life and the things that happen are literally because I have made choices against myself. Like we've all done it. I know it's not just me. I guarantee you. I guarantee you it's not just me. There's people listening right now who have literally experienced that. Like that it's them. It's our fault. the choices that we make are going to directly affect our life. If you continue to choose people who disrespect you and who don't honor you, who don't cherish you, who don't love you, who don't even think about you, then that's exactly what you're going to get. You have people like that in your life because you allow them to be there. You give them access to you. You say, it's okay you treat me like shit. It's okay that you yell at me. It's okay that you call me outside my name. It's okay that you put your hands on me, that you abuse me. It's okay that you, whatever, fill in the blank. Everybody has been through some kind of crazy situation where we've had messed up relationships. I know I've had, whew. Let's not even talk about it. Let's not even talk about it, because I'm telling you guys right now about it, actually. We've all had it. A situation that's just messed up. Like, the person did not appreciate you. But I'm going to tell you one thing about that. And this is where the healing comes in and compassion starts to show. And that is that that person treated you how they felt about themselves. Yo, let that sink in for a second. The person who abused you told you were stupid, told you were ugly, told you were fat, told you would never be anything, told you never amount to anything, told you whatever, fill in the blank, right? We've all heard the shit. That's how they felt about themselves. People can't love you any more than they love themselves. So if you see somebody who cannot even show you any kind of love or show someone else any kind of love, you see them screaming at their kids and calling them all kinds of names and telling them they're not shit, or, you know, people who talk to their children like that, that's how they feel about themselves. That's how they feel about themselves. People who talk to their partner that way, that's how they feel about themselves. If your partner is constantly telling you that you're fat and ugly and all this, that, and the other, that's when they look in the mirror, that's how they feel about themselves. It's nothing to do with you. You are not stupid. You are not fat. You are not ugly. You are not fill in the blank. That is literally them projecting their own feelings and of their own self-worth onto you. And when we realize that, it gives us the opportunity to have compassion for that person and to come from a place of love and understanding. We only know what we're taught or teach ourselves. We only know the things that we learn. And every single day, like, I've never been this many days old, this many years old today. I've never lived this day. This is my first time ever. And it's the only time I get this day. I'm only going to have this day today. And I've never lived this day before. So every day when we wake up, to do the best that we can for that day, like, be the best that you can every day. You see what I'm saying? Because you've never lived it before. But remember that the person standing next to you is just like you. They have never lived this day before either. And they're doing the best that they can. And you have no idea what's going on in their life, where they're coming from, what they're going through, what they haven't dealt with in their life, what they haven't healed from yet. Some of the most beautiful smiles hold the most pain, I say, right? People want to people, when you learn that people will be like who they who they are about that, like how they feel about themselves, when you learn that people will start projecting onto you how they feel about themselves, it's easier to have compassion for that person and to understand where they're coming from. And it will give you an option then to not react how you may have reacted otherwise. And I think that it's super important to be compassionate towards people because everybody's in a different place in their world and in their life. And you'd be surprised. There's some people who are younger than you or younger than me who are like so knowledgeable and worldly and super mature and very healed and on like an amazing path. And then there's people who don't heal until they're in their 60s, in their 70s, in their 50s, in their 40s. I know I didn't even like realize that that I wasn't a healed person, that I was walking around with all this trauma that I was still dealing with, and it was literally affecting my life. I didn't realize that till I was like in my late 30s. So it takes time sometimes. Some people, I feel like nowadays too, because it's kind of like this spark has been set fire across the whole world, which is so fucking beautiful. And I'm so grateful for it. I'm really grateful to be a part of it. And that you can, you can like see the change. People are beginning to like really awaken and become self-aware and understand that they are holding on to traumas and that they're being limited in their life, and that we are truly limitless beings. Like we can literally do anything. We literally can, but we're taught from such a young age and stifled, you know? So we don't even have idea of the greatness that we truly hold. I feel like now, because people have been healing so much and it's sparked like this beautiful like rejuvenation amongst us, that the generations that come beyond us, like after us, like our kids and our grandkids, they have such a better chance and a better like fight for life. Like they have the opportunity, a different opportunity than what we had or our parents had. Like our parents and our parents, imagine our grandparents, yo, our grandparents come from like straight trauma. Like they just come from bullshit. Because their parents came from genocide, slavery, like all kinds of oppression and traumatic events. Like that stuff gets passed down in our DNA. And we're now finally starting to break that and starting to heal our generations before us. And we've been given such a beautiful opportunity because not only are we healing the generations before us, but we're healing our kids and we're teaching our children how to heal themselves now and how to recognize and be self-aware and like be in tune now. And that's going to change the generations to come. Like it makes a big difference when you look at the comparison from what we came from. But my generation, I'm telling you guys, I know I've said this before and I don't mean to brag, but my generation has seen a lot of change and has made a lot of change. And I feel like my generation is like the generation of change. Like I'm a millennial. I'm the oldest end of the millennials. And my generation is like the generation right before me and my generation, the beginning of my generation, because I can't speak on the end of my generation, but the beginning of my generation and the end of the generation before me has just like really sparked such a huge change in the world. And I don't know, I'm grateful to be a part of it. But I feel like that gives us an opportunity that for our future that we never really had. Like we're able to change our future for our children and our grandchildren and our grandchildren's children and so on and so forth, to be more healthy physically, mentally, spiritually, even socially. Like it's time for us to change, man. Our society is so fucked up because we allow them to control how we think and feel about each other. Like come on, we allow them to control way too much about our how we view the world and and each other. They've divided us so much against each other, and they've just created so much hate and disdain and animosity on in so many categories. Like they have so many categories that they just stick people in. Like it's crazy to me because people who will who will join together in one category would be in opposition in another category, and it's just madness to me because it's like, so sometimes you guys are cool and sometimes you're not. Like I don't. So let's stop. We need to stop all that shit. We need to stop the division and the labels and the caring so much about stuff that just doesn't matter. Like there's so much shit that just doesn't matter. Like we're being blocked from the things that really matter, and they're just dangling like a carrot in front of our faces. They stick us in front of all this luxury and sparkly shit that they distract us from the things that really matter. I'm telling you that the luxury and the sparkly shit doesn't really matter that much. Like it's great to have nice things. Yes, I'm not saying don't strive for nice things and stuff like that, but don't get lost in that to where you don't know who you are, where you come from, where you're going. You can still have nice things. Yeah, manifest that shit, yo. You can have nice things and still be spiritually in tune. You can have nice things and still be healthy and healed. You can have nice things and still be a humble, kind, loving person. Don't lose sight of what matters chasing the shit that really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, and when it's all said and done and this temple that you're in is gone, like that stuff isn't going to strengthen or nourish or do anything positive. But what you have done within yourself and the growing and healing that you have done within yourself, it does. It nourishes your unit, your, I guess some people will call it your soul, but your soul is you, your energy, you. This isn't you. This is what carries you for a little while. Doesn't last forever. So it's super important to stay, when you have learned a lesson, to stick with that. And just because you love somebody or care about somebody, it doesn't mean that you have to be with that person or continue to allow that person in your life. You don't have to continue to allow that for yourself. You can love someone and care for someone from a distance. It's okay. And I'm telling you, I love everyone. I love many people, and anyone who's ever been in my life and touched my life in any way, like even if it was what I would deem a negative experience, I still love that person. I love everyone. I've come a long way in my healing as far as like in forgiving people, for sure. But that really came from that realization that we're all just coming from some fucked up shit and just trying to do the best that we can. And to be honest with you, like I think that even people who abuse people, like they beat themselves up inside over that. And they feel like shit about that. I really think they honestly do. Because like, for example, if you ever talk to somebody who's been addicted to drugs or alcohol, like at first it's cool, right? But after a while, they hate it. They hate the drug, they hate the alcohol, they hate the gambling, whatever is the addiction. Like people start to hate and have this like disdain for the addiction, but continue it. And the reason that they continue it is obviously because they're addicted. But when people can see that that is like something that's not good for them, it's harming them, it's not, they don't want to keep doing it. It's not that they want to do it. It's that if they don't do it, they feel like shit, or they get sick, or they can't function properly, or fill in the blank. Everybody goes through some different shit. So it's very like, it's very important that once you pull yourself from that addiction, once you heal yourself from something, once you learn a lesson from something, that you hold tight to that, hold true to that, honor that, because you will be tested. You'll be tested. And that's why we constantly go back to the same patterns of shit, is because then when the test comes, what do? Fall for that shit again. Right? You fall for it again in different skin, yo. That's all you do. You fall for it again in different skin. It's the same man, the same woman, the same person that you dated multiple times over and over again. Boom, there they are again. Boom, there they are again. Boom, there they are again. And sometimes, if you notice, I guess this is when you start to learn some lessons. You'll notice that, okay, so I don't date a person that does this anymore, but they're still doing this. Like, or I'm still not happy in this aspect of it. Like, that's how you realize you've learned a lesson. And that's good. Hold true to that, because you will be tested on that again. And if you fail that test, you're going to end up in that situation again. So, again, once you realize a pattern, this is why I say analyze these things. Once you realize a pattern, oh, I'm always dating somebody who does ... Like, dang, I need to stop doing that. I'm sorry. I want to. Don't need. Need is lack. You don't want to live in lack. I want to stop doing that. So I'm going to stop. I am going to stop doing that. How about that? That's even better. I am going to stop allowing people in my life that treat me in this fashion, this manner, that do this, that, whatever. Fill in the blank. And thanks, Crystal. Peace, goddess. How are you? I'm over here talking about when you learn a lesson to stand firm in that lesson. So, like, when you see that there's a pattern that continues to be being repeated, now if once you learn one lesson, it's easier to start seeing than the other patterns that you're not happy with, that don't resonate with you, that you don't want for your life. When you don't want something for your life, stop allowing it back in. Stop allowing it to continue. Stop allowing it to continue. And don't let it come back. Don't let it come back in. That's the biggest part, is when you hit that lesson mark and the lesson comes back to you. That's when you have to say, okay, you know what? And it's okay. Here's the thing. I'm going to stop for a second, because I'm just going to off track for a second. It's okay to not realize that that person does these things, or is that what you don't want anymore right away. Because sometimes, and I've talked about this before in a different episode, sometimes people wear masks or costumes or whatever you want to call it. My hair is just hairing today. Don't mind me. And sometimes you don't see right away that that person carries certain traits. But once you see that, that's when you have to respond properly. That's when you have to take action. That's when you have to say, okay, I see the pattern now. This is your choice. I mean, it's your choice. Do you want to continue with it, or do you want to get that lesson over with? Because if you get that lesson over with, the closer we are to finding the person that balances with us, like we're finding our partners or our partner or whatever works for you. Like, it's good. It's not a bad thing. I know sometimes it hurts. It sucks, because it's like, I know I have met people before that were like, I do like that person, or I have liked that person, or whatever. And there's still certain aspects about them that I just can't roll with. Like, and so it's tough sometimes to say, like, you know what? I know that they have this, but but they do this and they don't have that. It's okay. Get rid of them. You know why? You're doing yourself and them a favor, because two things happen there. Number one, it gives them an opportunity that maybe they're still growing. They might still have growth to do, and that's okay. And number two, you open up the space for who fits properly with you and for them. You're opening up their space for them too, because you don't fit in that space. You're not their compatible partner. That's not your whatever soulmate, whatever you want to call it. That's not your person. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. You don't have to hate each other. You can leave amicably. You can even remain like if you want to, if it's not a toxic situation. If it's a toxic situation, get the fuck away from them and don't look back. But if it's a situation where it's just like, I don't know, something that just bothers you that you can't deal with, you might still be able to be friends with that person. I mean, that's up to you, but you don't have to either. But it still doesn't have to be ugly, and it can still be an amicable situation that parts ways with in love. Like it can be, just start everything with love and end everything with love, and everything in between will work itself out, man. I'm telling you. Oh man, that's tough, Crystal. How do you get rid of somebody you co-parent with? Yeah, man. I think you can't really get rid of that person, but you can choose how much of them you allow in your life and how much you choose to give of yourself to them. Like you can limit that. You only really have to deal with each other for the children or children's sake. You don't really have to deal with them in any other aspect. So as long as you guys are respectful to each other and you keep that one track mind of our child, our children, this is what matters. This is what we're here for. This is the focus. Everything else is fuck shit. If they want to send you a text message that doesn't at all relate to the situation, like it's not about picking up, dropping off, it's not about birthday planning, it's not about orchestrating something directly revolving around your child or children. If it doesn't have anything to do with doctor's appointments or directly affects the children, if it's, hey, what are you doing, or how are you, or any other skewed bullshit, you just ignore it. Like, don't even answer the text message. Don't respond to the question. Divert it to something else. So yeah. So anyways, are you going to pick Sammy up at 7 on Friday? Divert it to something else. Change the, show them. You have to really set up. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but you got to really set a tough, like solid boundary with them and how they get to fuck with you and what kind of energy. Draw that line in the sand. This is our relationship, and it's just about the child or children. That's it, period. And everything else, no. Everything else, no. We don't have to be friends. We only have to be good parents to our children, our child. We only have to do that. Like the most important thing is that we are good parents and that we respect each other. That's it. The children should always see you being respectful to each other as much as possible, because don't get me wrong, arguments and disagreements and things like that can happen. It's life. We're human. We have emotions. We go through shit. But do your best to keep yourself in check and don't let yourself go off a path that will take you somewhere you don't want to go, whether it be your own emotions or whether it be a conversation. Like, no, I'm not having that conversation with you. It's not your business. You don't even have to say that. You can literally just not answer it. Or you can say, like, I don't feel comfortable answering that. Stand on it. Fuck them. Fuck how they feel. Fuck if it hurts their feelings. Fuck if they, you don't love. No, that doesn't have anything to do with loving somebody. Actually, you can love somebody and leave them the fuck alone entirely. I'll tell you what, I have lots of people in my life who I love that I don't even speak to, talk to, see, nothing. I don't fuck with them at all anymore, period. But I still love them. People who have hurt me, and I will love them, but I will love them from over there. Because I love me more, and my peace and my peace is important. I'm not about to stress myself or somebody else. I'm not going to sit here and argue and fuss and fight and go back and forth with you about stuff that doesn't matter. Especially when it's something like this, like, you're talking about like the father of your child or something like that. Like, bro, we are not together anymore, so we don't have to do this. That's the beauty of breaking up with each other. That's the beauty of realizing that we weren't compatible in that aspect. We have a lovely child, or we have beautiful children out of this. However, that's all we have between us anymore. You don't even know me anymore. So, like, yeah, no. Exactly. Living that unbothered life. Facts. That's exactly it. Just sometimes text messages are going to go unanswered because they're out of pocket and they don't have no business asking you that or saying that to you, or it's just not something you want to answer. You don't have to. You don't owe them anything. The only thing you owe them is what time you're meeting to you know, exchange children, or if they need something, or you know, the kids need something. The only thing that y'all owe each other is to talk about the kids and to be good parents to your children. That's it. That's all. Period. And it's crazy because some people can't ever understand that. Like I don't know, you might deal with that with one of or your child's father. I don't know. Some people just like they're so caught up in the wrong stuff that they just don't even see that the whole big picture, the whole thing, every piece of it, every piece of the puzzle, and then the whole puzzle are the children. That's it. Everything else doesn't matter. As long as they are happy, healthy, being raised properly, they are loved. Um, that's it. Like how sometimes it's difficult in situations like people are worried about, oh, well, at your house you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever, or at your house they get to do this. So, so what? At their house, that's their life at their house. When they come to your house, that's their life at your house. They can be separate. They're gonna be different because you're different people doing things differently. You have different routes, you have different ways, you have different lessons to teach your children. You have different relationships with your children. Like when one person starts to ask too much about, they don't need to know what goes on in your house unless it's thank you, unless it's something that you want them to know or it's something important that other than that, they don't need to know everything about your relationship with your new partner or your job or nothing. Like people just I think that's where a lot of that like healing never takes place in a relationship like that, where you still have to deal with each other, is because there's so much like animosity over the past relationship that people have a hard time letting go of the past relationship to grow the new one. And your new relationship is not the old relationship. It's very different and it's going to look different and it's going to take time, but both of you have to play your part. You see what I'm saying? And maybe in time you guys can be cool. Like maybe in time you guys can really be cool, girl. And I hope that, man. I'm sending positive healing vibes to your situation. Like peace, love, and positive healing vibes for real. I appreciate you. She said I like your look. I'm like barefaced. I'm Kermit the Frog right now. I have no lashes or nothing on even. This barefaced Melly, y'all. I got some lips. I got some lips. February 31st. I feel you. And that's okay too. See, that's the thing that people understand is like sometimes the most I can give you is respect. And be happy I have that. And it's really only because I love me and you're not worth it. Sometimes all you can give somebody is respect. And that's like, I'm telling you, I'm like that with my ex-husband. I haven't spoken to that man in I can't even tell you how many years, girl. I can't even tell you how many years. And I honestly think that to this day, he and I could not have a like respectful conversation. I don't think that we could. I think that it would be he would start talking about old shit like and I don't even want to tell you how many double digit years he and I have been divorced. Like, you still hate me. Oh, Lord, baby Jesus. And some people can just never let go of that old relationship and the old situation and the person that you used to be. And the problem is that we're always growing. Actually, that's the beauty. That's not even a problem. That's the beauty. I love you too. The beauty is that we're always growing and we're always a different person. I'm a totally different person today than I was a year ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. With healing and growth comes just like, I don't know, peace of mind and true inner happiness. It's crazy how much that when you really just become more and more happy within yourself, and and what's wild is that it happens like over time. At least this is what I've experienced. Over time, I have just like more and more love for myself and more happiness and true just like inner peace has seeped in. Like, I still have everybody has days, girl. I have days, yeah. I have days I'm just like, I don't know, sad for no reason. I feel like it's not no reason though. I feel like that's something that's coming up that needs to be healed. And even though I may not know what it is, I may not even be able to pinpoint what it is that needs to be healed. I need to release that energy for whatever reason. And that energy releases through tears beautifully, y'all. Tears are healing. That's why I say cry, man. Men, guys, guys, cry. It's okay. It's okay, and if you don't wanna cry in front of other people, that's fine, you don't have to. I don't like crying in front of other people either. But cry though. Like, let it go. Let that shit come out. It is healing. Your tears are healing. Sob. Like, sob ugly, big, fat, uncontrollable, ugly face, snot running down your freaking face tears. Like, let that shit out. You have to release it. You have to let it out. If you don't let these things out and let these things heal, they come out on their own in ways that are ugly for real. And we have to this you have to heal. You have to. It's just imperative to it's imperative to becoming your best self and finding out who you really are and finding out why you're here and what you're doing. That's why I'm here. Do you hear me talking to you? 9/11. I have a powerful message to share with the world. I was born on 9/11 at 11:19, okay? If that's not enough 9/11s to tell you I got some messages, hear my voice. I'm telling you, I'm talking to you because this is not my message. It's a message from the divine. It is a message that comes through me for you and me. It's not just it's for all of us. It's to heal us, the collective. We have to heal. We have to love one another. First, you got to love yourself, y'all. You have to love yourself before you can ever love anyone else. I never understood that shit. I definitely get it now. Now I get it. Now I understand what that means by you have to love yourself before you can love anybody else because you really don't. You really don't. We all, when we're unhealed, we project onto other people how we feel about ourselves. And I know that I was not perfect and innocent in my terrible relationships because I was the toxic person that they couldn't get rid of. I was toxic too. It doesn't mean that they were just toxic and I was just this innocent, sweet girl. Like, oh, they were just so terrible to me. Now, I'm not saying that like I actually had a man put his hands on me. A couple different guys in my life put their hands on me. But that look, that's some stuff that would never happen in my life again. I would not allow that. But that's also things that I would see red flags on coming from a mile away because I have been through that. And those are lessons that I did learn. You see what I'm saying? Thank goodness. Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for me learning those lessons. I'm not grateful for them being taught to me, but I am grateful that I learned those lessons. But if I had continued to allow that in my life, then I'm going to continue to see that. Once you see these lessons, you have to stop them in their tracks, bro. You have to stop that shit. When you see it going on, you have to say, nope, boom. That is exactly the type of shit that I'm not fucking with. And when you find stuff that you're not going to deal with in your life, don't deal with it anymore. Stop it. You have to put your boundaries up. You cannot care about if it hurts somebody else's feelings that you're not messing with them when they're harming you. They're literally harming you. Like whatever it is, I'm not even saying physically, but they're harming you. If they're abusing you, they're harming you. Whether it's physical abuse, mental abuse, that's harming you. And when I was in relationships with these toxic people, like I said, it's a give and take. Like I was whatever it is that they weren't healed from. Because they kept finding me's, I'm sure. I was just next girl was probably a lot like me, did the same unless they learned their lesson. The sooner you let go of toxic people, though, and the people that don't fit into your life, and you realize that those are not things for you, you can see it when it pops up. Like I said, sometimes people wear costumes and it takes a minute for it to pop up. But when you start to see, you will see. The thing about it is we have a tendency to disregard the red flags. When you see the red flags, it's important that you don't disregard them. Excuse me. It's very important that you take heed and notice to those things that somebody does that you've seen multiple times in other people. When you see a pattern taking place, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, looks like a duck, that motherfucker's a duck, okay? God damn, it's a duck. Does it have to literally come up and bite you in the nose before you realize it's a duck? Huh? Like what? When you start seeing those duck-like aspects, those duck-like traits, know it's a duck. And leave it alone. Stop feeding that motherfucker bread. Stop bringing it to you. No, leave it be. Yo, it's tough sometimes. Like I was saying earlier, sometimes you like really like a person or it's not even bad. Like, but you don't have to hate that person. Maybe you can change that. You may have sparked a change in that person by letting them go. You might have let them, they may have seen something in themselves like that they could fix and heal. You may have been a lesson and hopefully maybe they learned at that time and they love themselves a little bit more next time, or maybe they realize like that they have to treat people differently. Sometimes people really don't realize that they treat people badly. I don't know why they don't realize it. They think it's normal. They think it's normal, I guess. I'm telling you, it's how they feel about themselves, though. I'm telling you, it's how they feel about themselves. It's literally how they feel about themselves. For whatever reason, they have no love for themselves. I can't tell you. I don't know. It's sad, though. It's really sad. I think that narcissistic people are the most saddest people in the world because they literally hate themselves. Like, I couldn't even, I don't even know if something like you got to go through a lot to process that type of hate for yourself. Thank you for sending the positive vibes. Girl, you know what? That's what happens. That's how how the world works. That's how the universe is. Like you send out, it's gonna come back to you. So maybe someone had boomeranged me positive energy already, and I just got to bounce it back to you. It's reciprocation. It's that. It's that love. It's that. I send you love, you send me love. I send you love, you send me love. I send all of you guys love. I love y'all so much. And I really appreciate that you guys come listen to me talk about life every week. I hope I'm helping somebody. I hope that somebody is learning and gaining some kind of something from this to heal and gain some knowledge and some self-love and self-awareness. If nothing else, always, always, always in a situation, sit down when something seems like it's not going right. Look at yourself. That's the first thing you can do. And I'm talking to me too, y'all. Look at yourself. Like, are you triggered because it's something that's going on in you? Are you allowing something in your life and not being true to yourself, not being true to a lesson that's already been taught to you? Are you just continuing these patterns? Because that really is a choice, y'all. That's the thing that we have to realize is that when we continue to allow people to treat us certain ways, or allow certain people or certain types of people into our lives over and over and over again, or bring people back into our lives who have already shown us who they were and what our value was to them. That's a choice, and that's your fault. I'm sorry. It is. It's your fault. Stop letting that happen. Stop allowing that person into your life. Stop allowing that energy. It won't exist if you don't allow it there. Imagine if you're on a diet. Right? And you're like, I'm not going to eat cookies anymore, right? But you've got cookies in your cupboard. How long do you think it's going to be until you eat one of them motherfuckers? Exactly. So if the cookies weren't there, if you got rid of the cookies, if you don't buy the cookies anymore, the cookies aren't there, you can't eat them. Right? So don't let a person into your life or have your time, your energy, who is showing you a lesson you've already learned or showing you something that you don't want. If you don't want it, don't allow it. Most people don't accept and understand what a relationship truly is. Yeah, and honestly, we're going to talk more about relationship stuff too. I feel like I always talk about relationship stuff. I feel like life is just always about relating with people. So everything is about relationships. But like people do really have the idea of relationships fucked up because it's about communicating. That's the problem, Crystal, is that so many people don't communicate their wants, needs, desires, expectations. They don't communicate these things with each other. They just have them. So like, I have an expectation of you, but I don't tell you my expectation of you. I just expect it of you. And you don't fulfill that expectation because you don't fucking read my mind. How dare you not read my mind, right? And yet I'm still expecting this of you, but you don't even know I expect it of you. So now I'm mad at you because you have not fulfilled an expectation that I did not communicate to you, that you didn't read my mind to get. Holy shit. And that is a lot of our problem, is the communication or lack thereof. Communication, fucking motherfucking. I can't say it enough. Communication. And if you can't communicate with your partner, they're not for you. That's just all there is to it. They're not for you. And you know what? Do with that as you wish, because you know, you have to be the one to decide if you're happy with the relationship being how it is. If you're cool with not being able to communicate with your partner, that's on you. That's your choice. It's not my place to tell you that. If you're cool with that, that's fine. You don't have to be able to communicate with your partner if you don't want to. But if you want to, and you want to have a healthy relationship with somebody that you feel like your voice matters, your feelings matter, communication, man. You have to communicate with people. They can't read your mind. They don't know. What do you want? What do you expect? And again, if that person doesn't align with the things you want and expect, they're not for you. Let them go, because you don't fit their mold either. If they're not for you, you're not for them. If they're not for you, you're not for them. There is nowhere in the world that a pair doesn't match up as a pair. Unless it's my earrings, because they never match. But there's earrings, they're not pairs. Oh, yeah, man. I could literally rant on and on about relationship shit, you guys, because I have, in my last like 5 years, just had so much awakening about relationships and just how jacked up our perspective and idea of how we're supposed to be is. Like, they've really done a fucking number on us in so many aspects, and what a relationship or a home or a partnership or a family is supposed to look like. Like, it's supposed to fit in a box, y'all. And I'm telling you what, none of them fit in the box. Nobody's relationship fits in the box. None of us. And don't even fucking try. Don't try. It's okay that your relationship does not fit in the box. You know what? It's actually fabulous that your relationship does not fit in the box. Let your relationship be what your relationship is. Communicate with your partners, and 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 as long as you both or all have an understanding and things are, you're happy, who the fuck cares what anybody else thinks or what box you do or don't fit in? Your relationship is not supposed to be everybody else's relationship. It's supposed to be your relationship with people and how you relate with each other. And it's never going to look like what anybody else wants it to. And it's never going to, it might not even look like what you had expected it to in the beginning. Like, you'd be surprised how often our relationships with people, and this isn't even just intimate partnerships, this is our relationships with friends, our families, everything, they change so much. And our goals with people change so much, and what we want from them and want with them sometimes changes so much. Like, think about our parents, you guys, for a second. Like, just real quick, I know I'm going over. We'll go here in a second, but think about, like, with your parents. How many times have you thought about, like, when you were a child and, like, you really, like, you loved your mom and dad, right? But, like, when you're a teenager, some of us, anyways, I know I did. I butt heads with my mom a lot. My mom and I had major, not major issues, but we had some we had some problems here and there. But at the end of the day, once I got older and I really realized my mom was a human being living her life, doing the best that she could. She had never, first of all, I'm her firstborn. She had never been a mom before. She had never had a daughter before. She had never lived any of these days. She had never had me at one and this day ever until that time. You see what I'm saying? She was always doing the best that she could with what she had at the time and what she was taught and the skills she was given. And another thing too is you have to remember the traumas that our parents had endured. Most of our parents have not healed to this day from a lot of the traumas that they have endured. I hope that my mom is. I hope that I'm helping my mom. I hope that my mom is healing. I feel like she is, because I feel like I have seen change and a lot of self-love grow inside my mom that she didn't always have. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And that's exactly what I mean when I say, like, something happened with my generation and the generations, like right here, my generation just has created such a huge change. Like, we're literally healing our parents. And I'm so grateful and honored to be a part of that. But just look at how the relationships change. Like, now my mom and I'm so tight with my mom, like, and I've always been close to her, but it seems like it's like we went through stuff just like I think most people do. Like, but your relationships with people are gonna change, is my point. And it might not always look like what you had anticipated in the beginning, or even how it did look in the beginning. It's gonna look different in the end. And it's beautiful when you can grow together and teach each other things, your friends, your family, your parents. We can teach our parents too, y'all. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. Don't come at your parents disrespectfully, you know? Tell them to love them. Show them how to love themselves by loving yourself too. And maybe pouring a little extra love on them sometimes. Imagine all the things that they went through and did for us. And they did that shit because you're here. Like, like, we didn't earn it. I didn't earn it. My mom fed me because I was her child, not because I earned it. She showed me love because I was her child, not because I necessarily earned it. They did the best that they could at the time. We got to stop beating our parents up. That's another thing. I think a lot of people like have like bad relationships with their parents. They've had bad relationships with their parents. Sometimes you can't be cool with your mom or dad, and that's okay too, but release them of the expectation of being the parent that you need or want them to be, and just realize that they're going to be who they are. And sometimes you can't have that in your life, and that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to be in a relationship with them to love them from a distance and still send them love and like forgive them. That's for you. It's really more for you. It's an energetic and peaceful healing thing for you. And sometimes our parents are passed away. I know, like, especially when you think about like our parents and our grandparents that may be going through their healing processes right now. If your parents are already passed away, you can't tell them how you feel. You can't tell them um, that you uh, forgive them, but you can still forgive them. You can still let that go. You can still realize that that person was treating you how they felt about themselves and that they were traumatized, they were unhealed, and they were projecting their sickness onto you. It wasn't your fault, and you weren't those things. Like, go back and love your child, your inner child, yourself as a child. Go back and love that little boy or that little girl. Hug them, kiss them, tell them that they're smart, tell them that they're good. Talk to that child, like heal that child. When you heal that child, you heal yourself. You heal everything. Love on that child. Whatever you needed as a child, do that for yourself right now. When your parents would tell you negative things about yourself or hurt you or abuse you or go look in the mirror and replace those words that they used to tell you with the words that are true, that are positive. Tell yourself that you're smart. Tell yourself that you're amazing. Tell yourself that you can do anything. Like, and when if you ever feel like that creep back in, like, oh, I'm never gonna be anything anyways, or I'm just stupid. Nope. You have to stop that self-talk and replace it with new self-talk, because the thing about it is that self-talk was drilled into your head at a time where you were a giant sponge. You were a child, you didn't know anything, and literally everything you told was literal, and everything that you were told you believed, because how the fuck do you know? You're being told something by somebody who you look up to as somebody who is a higher authority, a power that's greater than you, somebody who's intelligent and wise, who's been here forever, right? When you look at your parents, they're very intelligent, they're very wise, right? At least in your eyes as a child, because you don't know. So you believe what they told you. And it's so stuck and ingrained in you as an adult because you've been feeding that and repeating that to yourself for all these years. You have been reiterating and repeating the words that they told you. Now it's going to take a little bit of time. You're not going to say this to yourself one time and then feel like, ah, I am, I am healed. No, it doesn't work that way. I freaking wish it did. I wish it did. It doesn't. You have to keep telling yourself that. And in the times where you feel like shit and you're crying your eyes out and you say something like, I'm so stupid, you have to like wipe them tears away and say, no, I'm not. Cancel that. I'm not stupid. I'm smart and I'm loving and I'm intelligent and I'm caring, and start just saying wonderful things about yourself. Replace those negative thoughts and those negative talks with positive talk. Even if you don't believe it right this second, just do it. Because the more that you tell yourself that, the more you recondition and reprogram your subconscious mind that's always paying attention. It's listening and paying attention to everything at all times, even when you're sleeping. So maybe when you're sleeping, if you do a positive affirmation video that tells you things like, I am wonderful, I am smart, I am loved, I love others, I am caring, I am kind. It has all these positive affirmations. You can play that while you're sleeping at night. Play it really, really low. It doesn't even have to be very audible. You play it really quiet so that way your subconscious is picking it up while you're sleeping, because your subconscious mind is always working. So if you're really, 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 if you're a person who has a really deep-seated like sadness, or you're really dealing with a lot of like personal traumas with your self-worth and your self-esteem, you could really benefit from meditations that have positive affirmations in them, or like sleeping music that has positive affirmations in it. You could really benefit from that because it will add on to you telling yourself that as well. Tell yourself that every day until you believe it, until you know it's true, because it's true. I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. Right. Yeah. Relationships in general. Most people don't. Yeah. No, they don't. And that's why I say even every relationship, communication is key. I guess you got to talk to your people, man. And love yourself. You can't love anybody else until you love yourself. Okay. So you got to love yourself. Do you love yourself or not? Well, I love you. So I'm going to send you positive, healing, loving vibes and tons of positive energy your way. Anybody is listening in now or anybody who tunes in later, that doesn't matter. The energy, that's what's so amazing about us and our vibrational energy. We are energy, and the energy is always remains. So you will feel the love and the energy in this video, no matter when you watch it. If you watch it 10 years from now, that love is still going to radiate from these hands right here. I love y'all so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for honoring yourself and loving yourself today. And remember tomorrow to just go in the mirror and say positive things about yourself. 3 positive things in the morning can really just change your day. Tell yourself what kind of day you have. Don't wait to see what happens. I love y'all so much. In 2022, will they let me into monk school? I don't know. You could try. You might have to shave your head and get an orange suit first. I love you, goddess. Thank you for tuning in. I love y'all so much. Thank you so much for coming and chilling with me on another Monotfahme Monday. It's been wonderful to have you all here. You have to communicate, girl. Don't be over communication. Just realize sometimes that when you're communicating with the wrong people, what you're saying is babble to them. Not everybody can understand you. They don't all resonate with you, and that's okay. Let them go. They're not for you, girl. I love y'all so much. Peace, love, and positive vibes to you and yours. Have a wonderful week, and I will see y'all next week right back here, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Monotfahme Monday. I love y'all. And if you don't follow me on social media, please go ahead and do that anywhere you want to. I'm not on Facebook right now, but I'm everywhere else at I am Melody Waters. Monotfahme. I don't really have it popping like I need to, y'all. I'm really bad at that. I need a business partner that's really good at business shit. I'm not good at business shit. I'm such a right-brained person. I'm like, but yeah, I'm trying to get my Monotfahme stuff popping. But if you guys want to follow Monotfahme on social media, everywhere is Monotfahme. It's spelled just like that. MONOTFAHME. I love y'all. Peace, love, and positive vibes. Have a wonderful week, and I will see y'all next week. Peace. No, girl. She said it must be me. Yes, it's what you're allowing in your life. Stop fucking allowing that shit, bro. As soon as you see the signs, kick their ass. Kick rocks. Peace. I love you, goddess. Love yourself, man. Peace, love, and positive vibes to you. Healing vibes to you all.